What's up, guys? It's Luke and Casper, and we're back for another live cast. But today we're talking about some quite close to us news, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, you can't really see our Discords, but it tells a lot about us just from literally our Discord images. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, just have quite a few memes about it. But we're going to be talking about the recent Optic like drama, or not drama, but like the whole situation surrounding Optic possibly not existing in the coming weeks. So yeah,
Yeah. All right. So basically, an overview
yeah.
of the situation. Optics majority stakes got bought out by Infinite Esports.
Immortals.
No, not
Oh, yeah,
Immortals. Not yet.
yeah, yeah, Infinite
Infinite
back
bought the
in
majority stocks like 2 years ago.
yeah. Uh, was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it was. It was.
So everything after the Scuff House. So when they moved into the apartments and shit like that, and then when they moved out in the new Optic house, that's all under the majority role of
Infinite.
Infinite Esports. And um, what brought this topic to light, like mostly, was the new Flycast episode,
Yeah,
which is another thing which
have
we've
to
based.
watch.
Like yeah, like we've based that, like our podcast has a lot of inspiration from that.
Is it? Yeah, like if you look at the flycast of Hitch and Maniac, literally it's just us two. But
Yeah,
like,
we're like the less popular English
yeah,
version of them.
not to say we're
So
copying though. It's just like
no, it's just an
they,
inspiration.
yeah,
You gotta start somewhere with a basis.
literally they just do everything. Like they don't have a single focus. Like yeah, that's
They just talk about everything the same as us.
literally Optic
But yeah,
is my life.
but yeah. So what they brought to light is that Optic, the majority stake that has been bought by Infinite is up for sale and potentially is going to be bought by another org called Immortals.
Yep,
And what this means, they theorize that they're probably going to get rid of anything to do with the brand Optic. The new Optic team will probably
be
be
franchised.
either
Well, it depends.
franchised or if franchising doesn't come into Black Ops 4, which it won't, it'll be the next Call of Duty if it happens. The Optic team will no longer be Optic, but they'll probably be Immortals. And depending on what the players think, they might. I don't know. The roster might want to leave if they don't play under
Definitely.
Optic anymore.
I,
Maybe they don't want to play under the name Immortals.
there's other, there's like a thing about Hex trying to buy back those shares and stop that from happening. But
The
then
only thing I don't understand is why he hasn't done it sooner.
well, I guess
Maybe
it's
he
just
just doesn't
been
have enough
tough.
money.
No, the thing is that it's like they don't have to sell the shares back to him. Like
No, they don't have to, but they're selling them. That it's up for sale, so I don't see why they don't just sell it back to him.
Immortals could probably offer way more money for the whole thing. Just buy it out. So
The whole situation's stupid anyway. Hex should have never sold majority of Optic.
nah, I can see why he did it, but like doing it wasn't the best for the future.
I mean, it was at a time when I guess Call of Duty and everything was at like its lowest point of all time.
Mm,
So maybe he was just like, this is the time to leave. Like this is the time to just
focus on his
make
own life.
make as much money as I can out of it, and then just because no one thought that COD's gonna be like anywhere back where it used to be, but now that Call of Duty might be getting a Modern Warfare 4 game,
That's
that
gonna
might
blow up.
rekindle that might rekindle a
Get
lot
some
of
old
the
fans back.
so I'm hoping that gets Call of Duty big again because the franchise deserves to have
Exactly.
its older kindle to it, like, it's fire. But now obviously like you can see clearly that like if 100 Thieves or Optic aren't playing, the viewership drops by at least like 50%. And imagine if Optic isn't there anymore,
Hmm.
that's just
That's just
gonna
scary.
kill COD even more.
Literally, the only reason COD is on that level is because of Optic and Phase. Like, there's no there's no argument with that one. Like the brands and game, like the teams that exist now, would not be a thing. Well, some of them would be because of just them trying to be in the competition, but half of these guys would not exist. They wouldn't have been like, oh my god, look at Optic and FaZe. Like now, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And so this whole Immortals buyout thing, it's not keep the content team as well, because what I don't understand is why Immortals would buy the brand of Optic, which is probably like one of the biggest esports organizations. Obviously there's bigger ones like Cloud9, and like FaZe is probably, I don't know, on a similar level. But Optic's like definitely like top five biggest known brands.
Definitely.
And with Optic come their personalities. And I don't know if like Immortals has like a content team, which I doubt they do. But like if they drop people like Hitch, Maniac, Flamesword, Bose,
That's
all of what Optic
what
is
built
will
it.
no longer be there. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't see how Hex is going to go on with life without having Optic anymore as well.
Like me and Kassa had this conversation like off recording and all of that kind of stuff, and it's just like it's so for us it consumes us because like everything that like gaming like it just surrounded our lives like growing up, and then for having
I
them no longer exist possibly it's like what.
I can contribute. Like I know Nature has its own org now, just 100 Thieves. But pretty much what got me into anything and everything to do with Call of Duty was pretty much Nature. And 2012 days was when he was on Optic. So I watched for Nature Shot, but then obviously you support him, so you support Optic,
Mm,
and then so you just grow up liking the team Optic, and then you watch all of the content creators like Big T, Flamesword, Bose, Hitch, Maniac,
exactly.
all of these guys, and for them to not be a part of a brand anymore like Optic is it's quite disheartening.
Exactly, like even the players themselves, they know
Even the players,
they've known
although
this for
like
a while.
the players aren't like they're not meant to be that big of a they're meant to be the thing that carries the
The brand
esports itself. And the personalities that you
create like
watch on everyday, like you don't watch them every day. You see them either scrimming, which they don't do anymore,
I,
and you see like a
if you
couple of
go to
videos here and
Twitch,
there.
if you go to Twitch, Optic, oh no, not Optic, I mean Call of Duty isn't even on the front page. Like if you go to browse, the
That's
first three lines aren't even COD.
that's absolutely shocking. If Fortnite, that could be a whole nother topic discussion. Just Fortnite and its impact on
Oh my god,
the gaming
that's another
industry,
video.
because
Like
that's
flipping
a
hell.
whole nother discussion. We could go on for probably like 2 hours with what we believe about the game.
I have to write a whole list about that one, I swear to god.
I could write a whole essay about that, mate.
You know what I mean? But anyway,
Split into three factors, mate.
back on subject.
Economic, political, and fucking social.
Actually, you could do that, honestly.
Yeah, that's a topic for a whole nother video.
But
Back on
anyway,
topic with the Optic thing. So
with Optic, it's just like it's been amazing to see them grow and all that other stuff. But when it comes to them not existing and me looking back in time and going to Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and like the beginning, and then it's just like Black Ops 2, which arguably I don't know if people would say the peak, I don't know. But it was like those were like the good 60-50 vibes. Like that was like one of the peaks. And then just to see
Black Ops 2 was probably the peak of esports, but
not
it's definitely
esports,
not the
COD
peak of Call
esports.
of Duty. COD esports, yeah, but
If you said esports,
it's
bro,
not the peak of
nah. Definitely the peak of
the
COD.
the peak of esports is probably Dota 2 or LoL.
Definitely. That's a different thing as well. Literally.
Yeah,
See, it has so much impact. If you didn't, it's just like, ugh, too much, too much.
yeah, it'd be quite sad to see the Optic brand go, but look, what can you
I
do?
know Hex
And
isn't
it's
gonna let it happen. It's like he'll do everything he can, but whether that actually, Whether he has much power is another thing.
But there's so much a man can do without having majority influence
No,
in the
that's
company.
not the thing. It's like it's more the direction of how Immortals would take it. Because if Immortal takes it, I don't know why they would. I know why they'd buy Infinite, but I don't know why they'd buy Optic. Because if you buy Optic, you can't have two brands under your brand. Like that's why Optic is not going to exist. But I don't know why they would do that. I don't, I don't get it. But I have to do some more research into that. But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, until I saw that they're quite close to closing the
Mm.
deal in a couple of days, so
It's the
we'll
next
see,
weeks,
and
man.
we'll
It's
probably make
crazy.
a follow-up video on what everything happens.
Hopefully it
just
pulls
wanna,
through for Optic fans, but whether it does, like, that's another thing. 'Cause I know what Hex is definitely thinking, like, about it all, but he definitely shares like the opinion of the supporter and stuff like that. But
I wish we all just could understand what was going in like internally, so that we like. That's
bro,
why
Hex
everyone gives
hasn't
shit to
vlogged in
people
so
like.
long.
Yeah, everyone is probably busy with fucking
That's
dealing
what I'm
with this
saying.
whole shit of his company fucking getting taken over.
But like Optic, the content creators themselves, like in the house, they've all fallen off, and people like Hypok and Rallied and stuff like that, they're pumping out content, and they're not even like proper Optic, like OG. They're just like B team, whatever they call them, like as a joke, like in that house. It's crazy. Like everyone's attitude there, like Embos and stuff like that, don't really upload to say the least.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. They're definitely they're pumping out content because they want to prove themselves that they can
Mm.
probably be on Optic, while all of the other ones are just like, well,
I made it.
our
It's like,
position solidified. So
because it's never gonna get rid of Flame Sword or Embers or Hitch or any of that stuff. Like Hex wouldn't, but the parent
no, because
company
they're all
would.
just friends.
Yeah, but they're like family. Like the Optic Intel channel back in the day, I never knew what it was when I used to watch it. I was like, I was just watching. I saw Hitch, and I'm like, I don't get what this is. And then when you look back
Uh,
on it, I'm like, oh, this is what it was. And then I'm like, oh, I remember it. But it's ridiculous, ridiculous.
it's not a good situation for them, but hopefully for the fans, as you said, it'll pull through. Because even for people like Hex, and
Yeah,
just them,
it's his baby.
hopefully,
Like,
yeah, I don't, I still, he had to have his reasoning for selling it. Because I would never in a million years do it.
well, if you have you seen the podcast, his podcast with his wife?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, in that he was talking about how he felt it was right and stuff at that time, which is fair enough. And this is like a long time ago, that podcast. I'm not too sure when it was, but it was,
it was quite a while ago. It was one of the first
yeah, I
ones.
think it was like number two, isn't it?
Nah, it was like number 7 or something like that, if
Oh,
I'm
it was
not
number
mistaken.
13. Shit.
Yeah, there you go. So, but it was still quite a while ago, considering it's on like episode 30.
Yeah, 4 months ago. So the beginning of the year.
Yeah, well, I mean, they sold it like over 2 years ago, so I don't know. As I said, like he might have just felt that it's time to pull out of the industry because it's not going to get any better. But
Yeah,
in
because
doing
he could
that,
do
he's
his own thing,
lost. Yeah, I guess you could say he's maybe a bit more free and everything because they're dealing with like the corporate side of everything. But
and he's
I
just making
still,
content.
I'd rather be busy like doing my own shit. No one tell me what I can and cannot do with what I've created.
It's true.
But,
That's the that's the
sometimes.
tough part of it. Like, it's good from an outsider's view that you can understand it, but it's about what's happening internally.
Yeah, that's the problem. We don't know what's going on inside, so maybe there was some external pressures just forcing him to make the sale.
Well, he has no control over the sale now. That's just like the original selling to Infinite was his bidding. Like that was all him. But
Yeah, he gave it up,
yeah,
so he knew what he was getting
yeah,
himself into.
definitely. But business never
Why do
goes
you,
to plan. Like
why do you
there's
think Infinite's trying to sell the stakes?
Is that a question or like a statement?
A question. Like, what do you think?
Oh, to be honest, I have no idea. I couldn't even guess.
Surely, if you were like, I've never even heard of Infinite before in my life, and I still don't know who they really
Bro, I
are.
thought it was some Infinite Warfare kind of thing. I was like, what is this? Like,
So,
I won't. Well, I'll let you go.
so yeah, I don't get why Infinite is this unknown brand, and they buy one of the biggest esports brands, like multi-million dollar sponsorships and shit, and then 2 years later they're like, we're putting out. Like, surely, maybe it's the relation between like old Optic and corporate Optic that like isn't very good. Because surely,
Definitely didn't work out.
if you had a cash cow like that, you would not want to let it go. Because god damn, they must be making a lot of money.
Like, that is true. The amount of money they must be making. I don't think they make as much money now from like the clothing and stuff. Like all of that. I don't think they do. Like,
Do
if
Optic even do merch anymore? Because
that's what
everyone
I'm
on
saying.
Optic does their own shit.
They do their
But
own shit and it's separate to the main shit. So it's all shit. Like,
at this point, if they kick them off, they're all probably gonna join TST at this point or some shit.
that's what maybe the reason why Hitch went so hard on TST is for this. That's very like cynical in a way, like, oh, he's just bettering himself, but maybe he's just seeing like he's just in a way heck no, Hitch is foreseeing the future when
I mean, it
if
is.
Optic does get sold, because obviously he knew he's got the brand of TST behind him.
That's what Jack Courage did. He was like, "Fuck this. This is
Yeah,
horrible.
word. That's
Let me go. Let me go
let me go
fucking
to
be
100T.
myself nice. Let me go get a house and let me go get a room in a 100T house. Not be a part of them yet. Just not causing drama." But he bought up his home brand, which is the Jack Courage JD, which is what Hitch is doing himself by making TSD instead. It's just three different people rather than one.
I like the TST thing. I can't lie. Like, I would never buy none of that merchandise, whatever. Not to say that it's bad, but it's just like,
I would never buy a YouTuber's merch,
nah.
except maybe a
I'd
100T.
buy 100 fees of Optic hoodie or something.
Or I
Like,
don't. Even Optic is just because
it's
Optic to me is like you get that gaming factor to it. It's like I
yeah, true.
wouldn't want to wear it in public that much.
I
But Hundred Thieves is like it doesn't force onto you like a gaming culture, and the design of it is just like it's out of the world. Like it's like no one else in the game is doing shit like them. Drake and Scooter Brown really made a good choice
I
of
say
who to
100
support.
thieves, unknown brand in a way at the beginning, because it was just like, okay, I'm nature. I've got investors. I've literally started my own shit, and they hit the ground running, and literally it's just been progress. It's like it's just been upwards. Crazy.
Honestly, I wish I could. He must have the maddest connections. Cause imagine like
Yeah, to get Drake. I don't like Drake, but still, to get Drake, flip me.
you might not like him, you may like him, but you can't deny that he's probably like one of the most influential, if not the most influential person, especially in like our age demographic. Like everyone knows who Drake is.
Drake?
Drake?
Yeah, who's
Like
Drake?
like everyone knows who he is. Like it's it's like getting uh I can't think of anyone that's more popular than Drake in like our age range. I don't see
Not
that
from this
any.
generation. I couldn't name one.
No, like I generally think that he's probably like the most influential. But like, look at just what just Drake did to Ninja when they played Fortnite, bro.
Bro, you don't know.
Like, there was like 600, 700,000 viewers watching Ninja play Fortnite with Drake, just playing a game. 700,000 people at once just playing a game. So imagine for a brand like Hundred Thieves having the backing of someone like
That has that influence.
Drake, like that
Quick thing,
must.
100
Yep,
Thieves drop is in
on
3 days.
Saturday. I know.
I really like that windbreaker kind of coat thing. That looks so
Yeah,
hard.
the the geometry one. I love the tricolor hoodie. That so pink. The
Crazy.
t-shirt I'm not a fan of. I can't lie.
I like it, man. I like the design.
I'm not
I
the
wouldn't
biggest
wear it.
fan.
I don't know how I'd wear it, like what you'd wear it
I
with,
mean,
but anyway.
what I would want the most from any ever not optic 100 Thieves drop would be either
That
the
baseball.
geometry
Oh,
windbreaker or that the hoodie, the white hoodie with the black embroidered thing. That's such a bang hoodie.
that is sick.
And then do you remember their first ever drop, the camo windbreaker?
Yes.
That was so nice.
I wonder where you could buy that stuff now.
Probably resell,
I'm looking on eBay.
like
Anyway,
Depop and
we were
shit.
really off track with the.
Yeah, we really went off
We should
track with
just
the
do a
whole
whole.
Immortals thing.
I can't lie. We should just do like a whole gaming podcast, one kind of thing.
Just an
It would be.
esports.
Okay, it
Yeah,
would be for gaming. We would never run out, but for esports, it's a different story.
yeah. I mean, there's not much we can really talk about for the optic thing because we don't know
We
much
don't
yet.
know. No, we know
No
as
one
much as
knows.
the
That's the
public
scary
does.
thing.
Like we all equals.
We know as much as probably Hitch and Maniac and them, because even they said in the podcast that
They don't know.
they don't know what's happening.
That's the worst thing. If they don't know and shit goes to worse, like no one
That is
knows. Like,
just
'cause in that podcast, they were even talking about how they bought that new optic house or got it purely to make them happy. Not like for anything business related. It was literally just so they could be happy in the meantime. And that's like the weirdest part about it.
yeah. Honestly, it feels like yeah, but the whole infinite move, just going back to it, is just it
Yeah,
was just
let's
the
tail
wrong
this off.
decision. Just imagine just having like the scuff house, which is like 60/50 on steroids, and then you just go from that to having no content at all. It's just
It was a
and like
it was a bad call.
yeah, well, you can't change the past, so
It's true.
Hex is stuck with his big project, which Optic is not in his hands anymore, so
That's
he
the
doesn't get to decide.
that's the problem, man. Like if that's just how it that's just the way it is. Like there's nothing we can do, but it's just annoying.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we could have ever done. There's nothing we can do now, but it's just all we can do is just hope that everything goes all right, and we still have Optic in a month's time.
It's a
So it'll be so weird not seeing Optic everywhere. Like,
No,
imagine just watching Hex and it not being Optic Hex, like it being
that
Immortal Hex or some shit like that.
I don't think you'd let it happen. I'd hope not.
You probably just sell the rest of it at that point.
But at that point, it's start again, and that's the scary part.
Surely they could just start another brand called Optic, right?
The legalities, I don't know.
Because if they're getting rid of Optic, like as a thing, maybe he could just make Optic again
I don't
and
think
just
he'd be allowed to. We had this convo. Like, I don't think they would. They'd have that in the contract written up that he can't go off and be like, I'm going to go and redo the brand. Like, because
yeah.
once it's done, that's it. Like, his shit is done.
I guess that's a fair enough point. Yeah. There's
That's the
nothing you
scary
can.
part.
Literally, there's nothing you can do now. That's just really
Nope.
scary.
So do
Like
you wanna?
yeah, it's a quick one.
Yeah, do you wanna tail it off in a minute?
Yeah,
Last thoughts.
last thoughts. As I said 15 times, it was a bad move. If the Immortals move happens, then it's just not gonna
The
end well.
Immortals move is the Immortals is like the worst case scenario of like how it can go.
So we might be seeing Team Summertime Hex in a bit.
Hex would know how to blow it up as well. That's the problem. Like
As soon
they
as
have
as
so
soon
many
as
stuff to do.
as soon as Optic, if Optic goes down the drain, as soon as that happens, and all of the like, imagine a Team Summertime Optic team and everything. like the Optic team goes to Team Summertime and plays under them and everything, that
Imagine,
would just blow them up to different
bro,
proportions.
Hitch would be like a CEO.
He'd probably give some to Hex.
Yeah, bro, Hitch doesn't. I don't think Hitch wants that. He wants the independence of.
Yeah, I don't think he wants Hex anymore. Like, I think everyone just gets to a point where they just want to do shit on their own, like make their own decisions and make
See,
their own.
that's where Optic did it wrong. Is they don't have enough younger, like the young content creators.
The problem with Optic is that the problem with just gaming teams overall is just like at one point people just grow up and realize that they want to go off on their own thing.
Mm.
Like at
Big
one point
timer.
everyone has to do something themselves. like Nade made his own company. Um, Big T is now an investor. Uh, Hitch is making his own team. Thingy. Uh, Maniac's trying to get, I believe, the hype back. Like
Yeah, but Maniac is. I don't know.
everyone's starting to do their own thing, and then so you can't be stuck on Optic forever. So it probably, even if Optic as a brand stayed, we'd probably see all the familiar faces go in a couple of years. Like
That's the scary part.
Big T's been there because he's just been there, but he's Optic to him is just like a online persona and a group of friends.
That's a
He
family.
doesn't need them anymore. He doesn't need them to survive or anything. Bruv, that man's a millionaire. I'm pretty sure he has a shit ton of money.
100%.
Like that man's an investor. He's earned fucking p.
Well, he made his 900 something thousand from the the stocks back in 60/50. All of that
Yeah, so
stuff.
that's just 900 grand right there. He's definitely a millionaire.
But
But like
yeah,
all of them in Optic are most likely millionaires soon. Well, except like the content creators. But like people like Scumpy and shit, they're probably close to a milli.
that's the.
Hex is well into millions. That man has so much money he doesn't have to do anything else in his life ever.
I wonder. I don't know.
If Scump's out here fucking getting that new house and like putting in like 30k home fucking cinemas and shit, like if you
Yeah,
can spend 30k on a home cinema in a house which looks like that, then you're fucking balling.
defo.
But yeah, any closing comments on the Optic Esports little
Um,
short thing we've had today?
to be honest, nothing that you haven't already said. Like, I.
Yeah,
It's more being sad and disappointed. Like it's like Game of Thrones. Like, just disappointed with how it's gone. But just with Optic, it's a real life thing, and they had real control over it. And it's just like, ugh, that's my feeling.
and one poor decision changed the whole. Like, look, it just makes you think like how one decision can change a whole like thing, like 20 people's lives and stuff like that. Like they could be out of a job soon. I don't know what the fuck Bose
I,
is gonna do.
bro, Bose, I don't know what he does. He best gets told and stuff like, oh, he does spare all this like stuff, and
Apparently he like fucking flips houses or some shit, but
yeah, no, he doesn't.
he doesn't look like the kind of he doesn't look like he's in that kind of money. Like let's be honest, that man's
He
walking
might
around in tracksuits all day.
the
He's
same
not
hoodie from
fucking
5 years ago, bro.
yeah, bro. He's not fucking flipping houses and wearing the same hoodie from
But
5 years ago. Let's be
before that,
honest.
yeah, um, he he might have looked at a house, let's say, and there's like, oh well, yeah, I'm flipping houses. That's not the same thing.
No, it's like me looking at an A star in history and going, oh, I got an A star in history.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not happening. Right, we've rambled on some random tangents, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's time to end off here. Quick little thing. We're not gonna
because
have a lot of these coming out
yeah,
because
we are in the pinnacle of exams now. That is it.
I've got 4 days to my first exam. You've got 5. We've got 5 technically.
Yeah.
So no time now. Luke's going to revise. I'm
Yeah,
done with
it's almost 8
revising,
o'clock.
so
I'm gonna get some Cocoa Pops, revise.
Jeez, man, like,
Let's do an hour and a bit. It's
love
not,
it.
but yeah.
Alright, anyway, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
It's been me, Casper, Luke over there.
Yeah, that's me. So
Follow all the socials, spread the word, spread the gospel.
like, subscribe down below. You know what to do. Share it, anything. Even just if you put a comment down, just say I listened. We we do see that and will most likely respond because everything helps. So yeah,
Starting out, everyone matters, so don't be shy, drop
yeah.
a comment.
And you guys are doing up the views as well for a small channel like ours as well. Like it's
Big up
very
you guys,
encouraging.
come on.
150 plus
Yeah,
views and like 3 videos. Averages out
it
at 50.
just
It's crazy.
it just makes us wanna do more of them and
Yeah,
just make it like a possibility. Maybe soon after exams,
yeah.
get actual mics, get camera, get some in real life like podcast. Me sitting in front of you, you sitting in front of me. You can have a little conversation.
That's it. Well, anything else or that's it? We're done.
Nope, that closes out.
Alright, well, thanks for watching. We kind of said that about 10 seconds ago, but yeah, it's
Yep.
been us, guys. Peace.